Waldo Rivieria reports a moment in history. Good evening, folks. It's Waldo Rivieria. We're coming to you almost live. Tonight, we want to address a few things, but first, let's get on with the business. This is a mask that I would wear if I wore a mask, but we all know I don't wear a mask, so without further ado, now that my Halloween beard is almost completely in, there it is. Yep, it's getting real nice there. And also one more thing, if you're tired, hot, depressed, have an ice cold Guinness. It's brilliant. Anyways, tonight we're going to attempt something we've never done before. We're going to have 2 episodes recorded on the same track, if it works right, followed by a rerun which coincides with this first episode I'm about to record right now. So stand by and let's see if this all works, and we'll move forward from there. Oh, also, I have something I have to play here because I think it's going to turn into something like this. Told you so. Oh, so there you have it. I think I may have told you so. So stand by and let's see how it works out.
Thank you.
An interesting story out of Europe that may have implications for us in the U.S. Coronavirus cases surging in many countries over there, but one country seems to be doing fine. Why is that, and what can we learn for it? Whatever we're doing isn't working, obviously. What should we be doing? That's next.
And Waldo told you that on August the 21st. August 21st broadcast. It'll be playing after this. You'll see.
Unlike pretty much every other place in Europe and in Scandinavia, the nation of Sweden didn't shut down its schools. It didn't close its businesses to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Instead, the government told people to stay socially distant in some reasonable way and to wear masks. Result? Sweden's death rate has dropped to near zero, even as cases surge elsewhere in Europe. And that raises the very obvious question: did the lockdowns hurt more than they helped? Alex Berenson specializes in thinking through tough questions like that. He's the author of Unreported Truths About COVID-19 and Lockdowns Part 2. He joins us tonight. Alex, thanks a lot for coming on. So, very simple question. Do you think, based on the fact pattern you just outlined briefly, that lockdowns hurt the rest of Europe?
Yes. I mean, Sweden's averaging about 1 death a day for the last couple of weeks. They have 10 million people. Cases have not spiked. Meanwhile, in the countries that locked down hard and early, like Spain, and notably Spain
and Michigan,
especially, those countries now,
not a country, a state,
are averaging several thousand to, in some cases, more than 10,000 new positive tests a day, and deaths are starting to rise too. Spain actually had 12,000 positive tests, I believe it was last Friday, which is a per capita rate higher than the U.S. ever had during our worst day. And by the way, Spain, France, and Italy, but especially Spain, had terrible economic contractions in the first half of the year. Sweden's was much less severe. So Sweden got through this, it seems. Now,
too bad Michigan didn't do it.
We're going to have to look what happens in the fall, but right now things look very good in Sweden.
Not in Michigan.
At much less economic cost. And if you look over the last 6 months total, their sort of overall per capita death rate in Sweden is very similar. It's very much the same as France, Spain, the UK, or Italy. So it's hard to see what Sweden didn't gain from following its policy.
Interesting. So we're trying to be as honest as we can. There are lots of variables between countries, obviously. Are there any big variables between Sweden and, say, Spain that might account
or Michigan
for different death rates?
Well, actually, fewer than you'd think. Sweden has a substantial elderly population. They do have a lot of nursing homes,
does Michigan,
as Spain does. Sweden actually, the one thing people will say about Sweden on sort of the left who want to attack Sweden is they'll say, well, the other Nordic countries had lower death rates, and that's true. But Sweden is actually, it's bigger than those other countries. And it also has a somewhat different, overall demographic. It has more immigrants, and it has more nursing homes than those other countries. And there are some questions about the way the Swedes treated people in their nursing homes early on, to be honest with you. So there are these other factors. I mean, one thing I was talking to somebody else about this earlier today, and it might be a good idea to get Anders Tegnell, who's the Swedish, really the epidemiologist in Sweden who's in charge of their response, and who, by the way, does what he thinks is best without politics. He's the one who set this policy. Maybe it would be a great idea to have Scott Atlas bring him over and talk to the coronavirus task force and talk to Donald Trump, because we've heard a lot
Stretching Gretchen, gangbang Gretchen,
and
talk with her.
Neil Ferguson make these cases about how lockdowns are the only way to go. Maybe we should hear from somebody on the other side.
Yeah. Tell Gretchen that.
I'm interested in hearing more evidence, and I have to say, I just have to pause and smile at the idea the left is attacking Sweden. I mean, if you're over 40, you remember when Sweden was held up as the model for everything. Alex Berenson, a man who's used to irony. Great to see you tonight. Thank you.
Well, here's Waldo back on August the 21st with some information regarding Sweden and Michigan. Now that you just saw the report 3 weeks later from Tucker Carlson and another expert in regards to what's going on in Sweden and across America, I thought I better replay what I told everybody 3 weeks ago. Wonder what I have to say. Here we go. Not from a satellite, but actually live. It's Waldo Rivieria reporting to you. Tonight, I'm on location with some very good friends of mine who are going to help me with some information for all of you out there. So tonight, we're going to discuss Michigan and Sweden, the differences. First of all, we're going to look at Sweden, and my very good friend, who is of French descent and speaks only French, so she won't be speaking tonight. Good evening, mademoiselle. Hey, could you tell me Sweden's overall population? Okay, Sweden has a population of 10 million, just over 10 million people. And Cameron, who does speak English, can you show me Michigan's population? Michigan, Canadian, damn Canadians. Okay, Michigan's population is not much different than Sweden's, about almost 10 million. Okay, now Sweden, how many square miles is Sweden? We're at a sheet cave, by the way, which was recently done. Let's see. And Marie says Sweden has 173,860 square miles. Michigan has 96,000. So it's about Michigan's down, about a little bit over half the size of Sweden. Now Sweden has, how many COVID cases do they have as of today, according to the internet? They have 85,810 cases and 5,805 deaths. Okay, and Michigan has 104,000 plus cases and 6,620 deaths. Those numbers aren't too off. Now, let's go back to the next thing, which will be Sweden. Did Sweden have any kind of a mandate saying that you couldn't leave your house or go to work or anything? What does the sign say? The sign says, Sweden, no lockdown. And Michigan has lockdown of 2.5 months. Okay, and in Sweden, do they have to wear masks when you go out and go to public or anything like that? Or is Sweden
Hell no.
Okay, they don't drink Kool-Aid over there. Okay, and Michigan has mask ordered by Governor GB. Does that stand for Gretchen something? Gangbang Gretchen? I don't know, Anyway, so there you have it, folks. In order to get herd immunity, I'll hold this side up, you must have 70-90% of the population with antibodies. I have the antibodies. Therefore, I don't wear a mask. I don't wear a mask yet. I'm not going to wear a mask. Some people need to wear a mask, and for those of you who want to wear a mask, you go right ahead. If it makes you feel better, that's great. You go ahead and do that. It's not going to save you anything. Sweden, obviously, has had less deaths than Michigan. No mask, no lockdown. They're bigger than us. Their population is relatively the same as us. What does that tell you? Maybe they wash their hands after they go to a public restroom. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. So there you have it as far as Michigan versus Sweden as far as the COVID-19. These are facts drawn from the internet. You're more than welcome to look them all up. Obviously, the population changes day by day. The mileage doesn't change, and the COVID thing is going to change every day. Now, once again, I got to bring a word from my sponsor. If you're dry and thirsty, have an ice-cold Irish beer, Guinness. That's not Swedish. It's Irish. Now, we have a couple of chicken heads over here. And this is we're not gonna do the chicken heads, but anyways, a slight correction. There was some use of masks now in Sweden. I'm not exactly sure on all of it, so I want to make sure that I correct that if I was wrong. I'm not sure, but I believe I may have been wrong on saying they didn't wear masks. They did have social distancing, but that's it. And look where they're at today. That's about all I got to say. Our next show is coming up real soon. It'll be back to back with this one. Stand by.